Look at the picture. See the skull. Visible Frankenstein controls. The Brain Thoughts broadcasting radio. The Frankenstein earphone radio. The latest new skull reforming to contain all Frankenstein controls.
All right, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Frankenstein Control. Before we weigh in on current events, we're brought to you tonight by Fred Fourknuckles. Dr. Fred Fourknuckles, Esquire. Legitimate businessman and man about town. So, my dad, I guess, when he was, like, a kid, I'm not sure how old, but he made up some character. I don't know if it was an imaginary friend or, like, an alias or what exactly this person was, but he made up somebody named Fred Fourknuckles. Mm-hmm. And he wrote that name in different places in his childhood home, which, of course, is my grandpa's house. And now they are beginning the sad machinery of death, and you know, they're going through Grandpa's house, and you know, having an appraiser and a lawyer look at all the shit and go through all the stuff in there. And I guess, like, I don't know where along the line an official channel recorded that name, but somehow it happened. They saw one of the places where Dad wrote it on, like, a ceiling joist or something and drew, like, a mailbox for him or something. This is the cryptic information that was given to me by my father. But he got a real-ass letter from a real-ass bank offering Fred Fourknuckles a reverse mortgage with, like, my grandpa's address as the house, like, the property being acted upon. It's like, "Dear Mr. Fourknuckles, we'd like to discuss the great rates we have to offer you." It's, like, seriously addressed from, like, Bank of America to Fred Fourknuckles.
Wow.
Or some shit like that. And, oh, boy. When my dad sent me the proof, he sent me a picture of the letter. And I lost my damn mind. Because that was the funniest shit I'd seen in a really long time.
Yeah.
And it got me over some of the sadness of, like, oh, we're going to sell that house and stuff, you know. And,
well, now it's Fred's.
And now it's Fred's.
Now it's Fred's house.
Now it's Fred's house.
Spider's right, it's Fred Fourknuckles. Owns it now.
So, anytime from now on, I've decided that anytime going forward, I need any kind of, like, Rusty Shackleford kind of situation. I'm going to say I'm Fred Fourknuckles. And, so yes, that's our sponsor. Now, just time for a quick check-in on the news. Schrodinger's Joe Biden either did or didn't enter the 2020 presidential race over the weekend. I'm not sure what the fuck happened there. I don't think anybody is. But that brings the number of potential Democratic nominees to approximately 40, which is as many as 4 10s, which is terrible. DNC officials have apparently been thinking of ways to sort of decisively thin the playing field a little bit, because we have all these fucking people now.
Yeah.
And somebody put forth the idea of having all Democratic hopefuls gather on the rooftop of a skyscraper, declare themselves to be the individual 11, and try to chop one another's heads off with samurai swords. I would enjoy that. Who do you think would win?
I'm pulling for Yang.
Oh yeah.
He's very rich, so he probably has pretty good sword training under his belt.
Yang has no nanomachines that run the muscles of his mouth, so when he talks, he doesn't. This is all a Ghost in the Shell reference.
Yeah.
He's so on about automation because he's a product of it. He has nanomachines in him. He's like, I'll tell you why things are going to get automated, because I am. And, like, he fires one of those anime lasers out of his mouth. Like the kind that, like, fires in a beam and it drags across the ground, and then a second later everything explodes.
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
Those are the coolest shit.
Yeah.
I love that. But that's who I'm pulling for in this epic sword battle. I mean, how do you compete?
Bernie Sanders would come back in one of those, like, cube-shaped little prosthetic bodies, like that one guy in that episode.
Yeah, the
just
like
scuttles
oil
around.
baron.
Yeah, the oil baron who just prefers that body for no reason.
I figured he would just, like, stand on one leg and hold a palm up, and then a giant, like, a giant 6-armed ghost would appear behind him and do the fighting for him. It's all gold and shit. Sorry, that was a Hunter x Hunter reference.
I could not get into that.
Apparently it gets real good, like when you get into it. Like, it starts out like, oh, this is bog standard and kind of boring, but apparently it does shit with its story to make you go, whoa! And the power system I hear is really cool. All that kind of stuff. Of course, I don't have the fucking time to see it. I don't have the fucking time to do anything these days. How y'all doing? Welcome to Frankenstein Control. I'm the disgruntled host who's about to go postal on these two. To my left, with the 39 pointed to her temple, is Ada Ship.
I'm Ada. I'm hiding behind a trash can crying.
And right in front of me, in the sights of my scope on my AR-14, because I couldn't afford a 15.
It's a Chinese knockoff.
Yeah, it's a Chinese AR-14. It's better.
Actually, you go down one letter or one number, and it just turns to cardboard.
Oh, shit.
It's a Type 14.
Well, the person who's about to get the paper cut of his life in front of me, as always, is B-Rye.
And I'm B. Rye, and I'm staring Taylor down, unafraid of death.
Oh man, you ever bought a gun?
Yes. Obviously. It's frightfully easy.
You ever rob a guy for fun?
I did. I came up to him and I said, "Stick 'em up," and then he got an erection. And I said, "Well played."
He said, "Ooh, what's this?"
"What's this little guy? Howdy." And I drew lazy circles around us. Well, anyway, I'm a little scatterbrained today, folks. Don't bite me. I was just kind of over here in the corner gibbering to myself and like writing on the walls with crayons.
Yep.
Oh God! Then Ada, what happened to you? Why is that huge axe wound in your head?
Because I was playing with an axe.
Oh.
Axes are fun.
They are fun.
Did we ever talk about the time Beer Eye rent his own flesh with a machete?
Which time?
When I moved in here.
Yeah.
Well, that is a fair. Which time?
Yeah.
When I first moved in here, or when we all first moved in here, we were doing some deforestation in the backyard.
Which has never since been done, believe me.
That was the only time we did it in like 4 years.
Well, it's because we quickly learned that the mosquitoes own that backyard now.
And snakes.
And the snakes own the toilet.
And Skunky.
And fucking Skunky, which I am not looking forward to putting insulation under that house because fucking Skunky's whole goddamn extended family probably lives down there now.
Every time you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, a sort of disembodied voice from off screen goes, "Watch out for snakes."
Watch out for snakes. Well, anyway, we were deforesticizing in the backyard.
Which we were accomplishing with the large number of swords and machetes we had, because of course we have those things. And it didn't take long before we started fucking around with it, and Ada started just sort of pitching branches at me, and I would, try to slash them in midair and cut them in half to demonstrate my shonen spirit.
You were trying to level up.
I was.
You fuck around with a sword enough, you get that skill point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. A one-handed increase.
Yeah, instead your light armor increased that day.
Yeah, so like what I did was my bladed implement that I most commonly interacted with of the sword variety was single-edged, so it had like a back spine with no blade on that side. And I like to flip it around, and that's how I stabbed myself when I was 14, and again when I was 20, and again pretty much at least once a year, all the interceding years.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I liked the one of Taylor's that I had been chopping branches with.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it was just one of yours, and I wanted to like check the balance on it, so I like flipped it around my palm, all cool, like I still remembered how to do. The problem was this one isn't mine, and there was yours is double-edged, and there's an edge on the back where I wasn't used to there being an edge when I played with them, and it totally chopped me in the friggin' hand.
Oh, gotcha.
Real bad.
It was funny too, because like my dad was there too, helping out, and Beer, I rent his flesh asunder, and he's bleeding everywhere.
Well, my reaction was just like, oh, God damn it! I wasn't screaming or anything because like. We went inside and, to say what you were going to say, because your dad suggested the panacea.
Yes, my dad suggested the cure-all for deep cuts that would normally warrant stitches, but you ain't got the money for the emergency room. Super glue!
Yep. Luckily, I had a full tube. So we took you in, washed it up, and then just glued your wound shut.
Yep, and it worked.
Put a Band-Aid on it.
Mm-hmm. And it worked, and... I was washing my hand in the sink, and Ada expressed some, concern, like, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay there? And I was like, you think this is the first time this has happened to me? I'm covered in injuries like this.
I'm covered in injuries. Stop sentence.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's let that be a powerful lesson to you folks at home. Don't fuck around with blades, but if you do, keep some super glue in your medicine cabinet. People be like, boy, you better not use those as eye drops, as they look at you and your eyes are sewn shut and you're like, I know. I know.
Don't fuck around with blades, but do fuck around with blades because they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
But don't fuck around with Blade. That guy'll get you.
Only if you're a vampire.
Or in prison.
Vampires are safe because he's in jail for tax evasion now.
Exactly.
Is he still in jail for that, or did
I
he
don't
get
know.
out?
That's like such old memes. I don't even know. Like, is Wesley Snipes? Google Wesley Snipes still in jail? Question mark.
I'm picturing him, but like when I try to picture him going to jail for tax evasion, I'm literally just picturing Blade being frog marched with the handcuffs into the jail, like in the full costume with the round sunglasses and the 90s ass leather vest, and like he's still got the friggin' sword handles sticking over his shoulders. So speaking of dumb action movies, my wife and I over the weekend watched the just because it was on, the new Jurassic World movie, the dinosaur, the
Jurassic World Dinosaur Kingdom, the new Disneyland,
Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World, or whatever the fuck it's called, and of course, naturally, both of us loved dinosaurs growing up, and we know quite a bit about them and science, and I've turned into my father where I loved those movies when I was a kid, and I loved action movies. Like, a movie did not have to have a lot for me to really enjoy it and enjoy the action in it now. But my dad always just mocked things ceaselessly and pointed out every single flaw and inconsistency and idiot thing in them. And it was like, God, this is terrible. It's so stupid. And I couldn't help but we just basically ended up Mystery Science Theatering the entire thing. And I kept... like, that's why would it do that? It wouldn't roar in triumph after it does. It's an animal. It doesn't understand that. And it's just so fucking stupid. All of these are way too big. And, they're way larger than their actual size would have been. None of them have feathers. None of this is accurate. And, there's a scene in particular. I started doing that thing that Oni does, where the tone that he takes when mocking something becomes increasingly hostile and like demanding. And the plot of the movie invariably, because every single fucking one of these has this as a subplot. What the greater or lesser extent to which it's a subplot varies from movie to movie, but there's always some dickhole who wants to weaponize the dinosaurs somehow. Because how the fuck do you weaponize in a modern warfare scenario with drone strikes and cruise missiles and shit? How the hell do you weaponize a goddamn dinosaur?
But B-Rye, for centuries, man has used animals in warfare.
That's exactly what he says. That's exactly what he says in the fucking movie.
That's what the good fellow says. The character was totally super a character in the first movie.
Yeah.
And never showed up again until now.
Not at all a shoehorned in turd.
Yes.
And I was like, what's the applications here? You can't infiltrate anything. You think there's going to be some Al-Qaeda cave? And they're like, oh, I will have the new guy unload the crates. And it's a fucking dinosaur. Wearing like fatigues. He's in deep cover or some shit like that. And I'm like,
it's just a raptor, and he's like got the huge claw poking out his combat boots.
yeah. And it's like, what? You realize people have guns, right? Like a tiger wouldn't even be like a good. You can just shoot it.
I like the part in that scene where they're like, now, this is the most dangerous raptor of all, the Insano-raptor. I can't fucking remember its name.
It's the Indo-raptor.
Oh, okay.
Look at this fucking thing. We've weaponized this monster and taught it only cruelty. Oh, the hubris of man. Look at its skull face.
Wow. My favorite part about all that is that, like, they're at a fucking dinosaur auction, which, first of all, they're like, alrighty, here's a creature resurrected from the very bounds of millions of years. In all of its fucking glory, it's beautiful. Who will buy it for $3? $3? Can I get 3? Like, they're very underselling these dinos first off. Like, all the numbers were like, 10 million? 10 million for the incredibly rare, one-of-a-kind, super weaponized dinosaur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other part was, then the Insano-raptor, which I will continue to call that because it's funny, they bring out the Insano-raptor and they're like, now this one isn't for sale. We just want to cock tease you, I guess. And they bring out the Insano-raptor and they're like, okay, so this is how you make the Insano-raptor attack a bad boy. You point a laser pointer at it like a fucking cat, and he goes after it. Raggle fraggle! And he does it, and then there's like this weird ass side character who likes collecting like dinosaur toenails or some shit.
Wait, I gotta jump in here real quick
man.
because that guy was the hapless idiot McLeach character they had to capture all the dinosaurs from the island so that this asshole could sell them.
You take one of my eggs.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. And so he fucking comes in after all the rich people get scared off because Chris Pratt goes all Jesus-y and proselytizes at them. And
he shows him his prostate?
yeah, no, Chris Pratt does some idiot thing with a Pachycephalosaurus that was way big. Like, it was like way larger and more misshapen than it really would have been, and it headbutts people for no reason at all. It just goes on a rampage for no reason. It's an animal. It would want to leave. It wouldn't just, I'm going to attack these people in a succession and throw them around the fucking room.
But it was trained to be bad. Oh, the hubris of man.
None of them were trained as weapons. It was just the one. The others were just might have been like random woodland creatures that they rounded up, and they were just selling them for I don't know.
Oh yes, I could definitely see the Dimetrodon aiding Snow White in the creation of a pie.
Yeah, but anyhow, so the fucking rich people all run off. And this idiot McLeach guy comes in with his tranquilizer AR rifle that he still has, that no one has taken away from him.
The one that he shot Chris Pratt with instead of just shooting him with a real gun, which they totally actually had.
Yes!
And they're like, no, shoot him with the dart. What? Why? Because it would be more thematic.
Yeah, we want this guy out of the picture for good. And let's shoot him with a sleeping dart and wait for lava to get him.
And we want a silly scene where Chris Pratt can't move and he has to goat simulate his way out of the lava.
That's exactly what he does. That's exactly what he does. Some quap shit.
You know, the more we shit on this movie, the better it is. Like the more I'm retroactively enjoying it.
Anyhow, the McLeach guy comes into the now empty room that is empty save him and the Insano-raptor in its cage, and he just walks up and he's like, oh yeah, you're a pretty girl, aren't you? Ah, woo! Yeah, woo! And he just darts it for no reason. And it falls over.
Well, I mean, B-Rod, you can't really blame him. If you had a sweet AR-15 dart gun, would you just dart everything?
I absolutely would. I absolutely would without a second thought.
Mailman!
Yeah.
Thanks for the package.
Yep. Exactly. So he darts it, then he unlocks its cage and goes into the cage with this darted thing, and then like they keep talking about how intelligent this thing is, and, like how incredibly smart. It's like got near human intelligence. And then like you can see that it's just pretending to be asleep.
Yeah.
And then it wakes up and it gets like right in his face, and there's like a long moment of hesitation where it's like face to face with him and it's like staring him in the eyes. I'm like, what, is it gonna talk? Is it gonna call him a cuck? What the fuck is going on?
That would have made it movie of the fucking year.
What are they waiting for with this dramatic pause?
The genetically engineered dinosaur called someone a cuck. Jesus Christ. You skip past my favorite part of that scene though. My favorite bit is when he's sneaking into the cage, into the presumably tranquilized endo ding dong, and like it cuts to the dinosaur's face, and he fucking smiles.
It does.
And mugs to the camera. He's like, pretty much just fucking winks at the camera. He's like, "Oh, watch what I do next, folks. You ain't gonna believe it."
They're so lame. And then when the blue, the raptor,
the Foster's Home character. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my god, that would be funny if fucking Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. No, but the blue raptor, the action figure of
Seller.
which was the entire reason these movies were created, when it saves them by battling the Indoraptor, and then it's like, it defeats it, and I'm like, is it gonna fucking ride on a skateboard out of here? This is so goddamn dumb.
Oh, that would have been great.
This is really God.
Another part that I really like is when they brought back Hammond. In a very dumb respect. Wait, Hammond, was that his name?
The old man.
The old man, yeah. He's long dead. He's a dead boy. But his legacy lives on in the form of a guy we've never heard of. Which, I know we were rapping on little known characters coming back out of nowhere, but I don't know, you couldn't have just made it like one of Hammond's relatives. This guy was like, I am his best friend from long ago. Boy, am I doing a sad that my old man friend, Richard David Attenborough, is dead.
I'm his best friend, and I've always been here.
Yeah. Also, here is a daughter of mine. It's mine, not a clone. Not a clone. It's not. She is.
I didn't even tell you the best part that happened while we were watching this is of course the fucking smart weaponized ass raptor gets loose, and of course it goes on an alien isolation rampage around the mansion as they're all there. Also, before we get to that point, I like how they're on the fucking dinosaur island. And which
is all you gotta say is these characters are on Dinosaur Island, and allegedly it would have just been a recipe for success no matter how you slice it, but I don't know. Universal finds a way.
Yeah. So the badmen, along with sort of the protagonists, get all of the salvageable dinos onto a big old boat and they sail away.
Salvageable dinos. Oh yeah, we can bump out the dents in this Triceratops. It'll run pretty good.
This friggin' Brachiosaurus needs some body work though. That thing ain't gonna pass inspection like that.
His springs are all fucked up.
So they get them all on this boat, and then the protagonists are like, well, we gotta stow away on the boat now so we can get off the island because the volcano has to dramatically erupt as we're all leaving.
Yeah.
And then, the boat goes right to the rich guy's house. How the fuck does the boat go to the rich guy's house? It's a manor house in the moors in London or some shit. And the boat just goes there. They get off the boat and they're there.
They got a hydrofoil. It's very high tech.
Why were they there? Anyhow.
They got a rocket boat.
I gotta rein in my streaking here.
This is the loudest beer I've ever been,
They drove their fucking Humvees with the towing trailers that the dinosaurs are imprisoned on, and they just drive up and they're in his driveway. And they're at his house.
He's like, just put it down by the lawn flamingos.
There was no shot of any kind that established that this manor house was anywhere near water.
Yeah.
Or, the coast at all. And yet they get off this big-ass boat and they're just there.
Well, I mean, wait, did you see it happening, boat to lawn?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, they just drive up an incline off the fucking boat and they're at the house.
What? They didn't even set up, a goofy, they could have easily just given us a convoy of trucks that communicated, so they were transferred from the boat, wherever that unloaded, to the trucks, to the lawn. No, that's fine. Would have saved a lot on riverfront property.
Yeah.
And also, isn't Jurassic Park, in the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah, presumably.
Oh my god, they were on a boat with dinosaurs for a really long time.
Yeah.
Now somebody's gonna start eating somebody, and if it ain't the dinos, it's the people.
Yeah. So
take our pleasure cruise with these dinosaurs.
The
stock up.
God damn it. So they're at the fucking mansion, and the dumbass super smart raptor is tearing ass around inside, killing people at random.
That stupid smart raptor.
And like they could have given it hands so that it could use a gun. You know why? You gotta weaponize something. Why? I'm honestly surprised.
I'm just imagining like actual human hands on the raptor, just like
yeah.
Oh, they're like fleshy, they're not scaled.
One hand is the raptor hand, the other hand is like a human hand just painted blue shoddily.
Yeah.
Like you can see the skin tone coming through the paint.
Each one of its raptor toes is just like a human foot.
Ew.
He's got like 3 feet per foot.
It's like a Cronenberg. So this is John Carpenter's
Jurassic World, which I'd happily go see.
Oh yeah.
So somehow the dumbass raptor decides that it's going to kill the little clone girl. And if it's a spoiler that the girl is a clone, I don't care.
Apologies for 10 minutes ago. Second of all, it
is telegraphed very early on in the movie that also, who cares? You're not going to care when you watch this movie. You are not going to care.
You're watching it to giggle.
So the raptor decides that it wants to fuck with her exclusively and leave all these other people alone. For no reason is established for this, just because it would be scary. It decides to do that. And so she escapes from it and runs all the way upstairs through this never-ending mansion to her bedroom. And then it pans to an outside shot and like zoom in and like an aerial zoom in on the fucking mansion in the rain.
Somebody got a drone.
And then I'm like sarcastically, I was like, and then the raptor's on the fucking roof. And then the raptor was on the fucking roof! It happened like 3 seconds after I said it. It was on the fucking roof. And then it went to specifically her bedroom window, which, how the fuck would it know which room she went into in this big ass house? Why would it know?
He can smell clone farts. It's one of his many talents, including using ladders.
Oh God, that was. Oh.
My favorite bit at the end of the movie, where they're like, "Oh man, good thing we got this gate that's holding all the dinosaurs back from killing everyone in London." And then the girl's like, "Yeah, you're right. That would be horrible if somebody were to open this gate." Ka-chug! Gate open! And they're like, why? Why did you fucking do that? And she's like, because we're the same. And I was like, you're a fucking dino? You're a dinosaur girl! And she's like, no, stupid, because we're both clones. And I was like, what?
Here's another thing. The reason that she did that was to spare the dinos dying at the hands of the poison gas, which is filling up the lab that the dinos are still locked up in.
Which is like,
because somebody else sets off an explosion that hits the convenient tank of poison gas that they have in there. They're like, we can't just let these animals die like penned up in their cells. That's awful and cruel. So we got to let them out. And then they're debating whether to open the floodgates and just release them onto the moors. And well, the thing is that the gas, somebody mentions what the gas is. There was no reason for them to have that poison gas in there. It serves only as a catalyst for this shit. Yeah. It's not a byproduct of anything you need in the lab. It's just straight up Zyklon B. Why the fuck do they have that in there?
I think they were wheeling in tanks of it, and then some guy's like, hey, wait a minute. This ain't the normal label for the propane. We got a lot of chafing dishes to fill for the buffet. We're holding an auction here. You're fucking up.
Just buy some Sterno. We'll call it good.
Like, hey, this is fine. Just heat them up with this gas. It'll be fine. That's real spicy fajitas on this buffet table today.
So it tastes like almonds.
What's a Cyclops B?
Zyklon B? Zyklon B is the... Well, now we have to go to a dark place, because Zyklon B is what the Nazis called the cyanide formula that they gassed people to death with in their genocidal war machine.
Jesus Christ. But now it's a genocidal dinosaur machine. But not anymore, because the dinos are free to munch on the denizens of London. They might eat Doctor Who. And depending on your opinion of the show, that might be a good or a bad thing. I think my favorite part of Jurassic World was when what's his name? Chris Pratt he basically resets his entire relationship with the main female character just so they can have another will they won't they story, even though they already had a will they won't they story.
Oh yeah, that pissed us off.
That was my favorite part. Also, my favorite part is when the Insano-raptor got up on stage and just started fucking jacking it. She's like, ha la 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 la, and they're like, look at the intelligence, look into his eyes, as he's like, everyone's like, oh, you know, like everyone's clapping.
With his one human hand.
Yes, with his one human hand, his one blue painted, the blue paint's rubbing off on the prosthetic dino cock.
Ew.
It's like,
Prosthetics supplied by Bad Dragon.
yeah, it's just a Bad Dragon dildo. Just, and then, my favorite part, the big surprise, they keep bringing back old characters. Into the room walks Newman. Mm-hmm. You know, you thought, and the audience goes, wait a minute.
Nobody cares. He's got Dodgson here.
He died in the first movie. It's impossible. How could he be here? And he has like a dino scar on his cheek to show that he's been through some shit. And he's there at the dino auction. And like, you see him like tuck some like more dynamite into his dynamite stuffed suit coat and like looking around all shifty, and then he looks up at the stage at the jacking off dinosaur, and right then the dinosaur goes oh, and the splooge goes right in his eyes. Dramatic irony, ladies and gentlemen. That's fucking cinema. And then he goes, Arr! And then gets eaten by a bunch of small, those like little critter dinosaurs. Hey, who let those guys out? Oh, well, it's just Newman. It's fine. Ah! And he gets torn in half when he's trying to take a shit. That was in the second movie. But that was my favorite part of Jurassic Falls.
I like that too.
And I think, you know what? I give this movie a 9 out of 10. 9 dinosaur toenails out of 10. Gotta collect them. But watch out, he might be pretending he's asleep. And then that's when he gets... Oh! Hey, man!
Now even you know I am a menace. I hand you the secrets to save the entire human race and the entire universe.